This is Chad Borkwin, and this is the Dream Big series. I am a professional musician and recording artist that has been fortunate enough to learn how to get paid doing what I love. But this didn't just happen for me. In fact, I have years of doing things other than music that have all played a part of the success I get to experience now. But more importantly, I've learned the value of having the right people speak into my life and how that is the key to breaking free of old limiting habits. So if you're tired of being stuck and you believe there is more for you in life, the good news is everything I've done is a result of what I've learned, and it can be taught. Join us as we bring topics and guests onto this show to provide you with valuable insights on how to get to your big dream. This is the Dream Big series. Welcome to the show. All right, welcome to the Dream Big series inaugural podcast.
Yes.
And I'm really fortunate because my first guest here is Tim Charron. And why I'm fortunate is because Tim is, he interviewed me for a podcast before, and he has walked me through the technical aspects of this, which I completely failed at. So our first podcast is actually being recorded by Tim.
So Chad, I would really like to thank you for inviting me on my own podcast.
Right. I also like to thank you for the technical support. And if you send me a survey, I will fill it out.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. Well, thank you for having me on.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So here's why I really wanted Tim on the podcast is that Tim has mastered a few things that I think, well, probably a lot of things, but a few things I definitely want to talk about. And one of those is he has figured out the keys to getting booked for openings on national acts. And I know that's always been a big thing from me as an artist and my brother and I. And so the fact that Tim has not only done this and done it well, but also sharing how he's done it is a great thing. So Tim, man, first of all, you mind sharing some of the groups you've opened for?
Oh, yeah. I'm at the point now, fortunately, that I have to write them down so I can remember. I added them up, and it's over 30 national acts, which is incredible to me. So I've opened for like Charlie Daniels just a few months ago, Willie Nelson, Bret Michaels a bunch of times. I sang with Bret at one of his concerts. Dustin Lynch, Quint Black, Big and Rich, Maddie and Tay, Jamie Johnson, Randy Travis. Just again, I forget some of them. It's been a lot. It's been exciting.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Hey, short little side note: my grandpa actually played on stage with Charlie Daniels years ago. Yeah, he won a fiddle contest, and part of the prize was you get to play on stage with Charlie Daniels.
That is so cool.
So I would love to eventually meet him someday and just, I doubt he remembers that, but it'd be fun to talk about.
Yeah, he's such a nice guy. And it's amazing how, I don't know how old he is, but he's late 70s, I think. And
probably.
He is, backstage, he's not the youngest person in the world, and you can tell. And then he gets on stage and he's just fire and brimstone, man. He is all energy, so it's really impressive.
Well, it's a testament to doing what you love your whole life,
Absolutely.
So let's talk about, because you've got a great story of your first opening and how that even happened and how opportunity met preparation and you capitalize on that. So maybe share a little bit about that.
Yeah. I started my whole career playing bar stools, right? 4-hour bar stools, and that's how I made a living. I moved to Nashville and I started traveling out and doing all solo acoustic, 5, 6, 7 days a week to make a living. So I was in the middle of doing that, and I started, I would book like little different tours and everything. And I was in New England doing a tour, playing bar stools, and I remember I was flying to Key West to play a week at Margaritaville in Key West, and I had gotten booked by somebody else. It was a different booking agent. So to play at this place called Indian Ranch on the side stage. It's called the corral stage, and it's basically, you know, like 40 people eating lunch at picnic tables, and it's kind of like the audition stage, so to speak. So a lot of times, you know, when they like people that play there, they go on to the next year. They go on to open for one of the national acts. So I pull up, and it's unbelievably intimidating because just going into this place, I'm used to playing at bars and restaurants, and this place, there's thousands of people, and it's a huge amphitheater. And I pull up, and number one, because the person told me the wrong time, I was late. They also told me that I didn't need to bring a sound system, which at that point, I always carried a sound system in my car because I was always providing my own sound. So I go up, and it was really, really, really tense because the stage manager was, you know, justifiably pretty upset that I was late and I didn't have a sound system. So I said, okay, I'm gonna handle this. I just grabbed my guitar, took the sound cover, the whole cover out, and started walking around and serenading everybody, sitting on the picnic tables and everything. And he was so impressed with that I did that for like 10 minutes, and he's like, Tim, come here. And I thought I was in trouble more. I was like, oh, geez. So he looks at me and he goes, do you want to open for Clint Black? I said, you're damn right I do. And I'll never forget this. It was incredible. It was like a movie. He goes, you see those stairs over there? Run up those stairs, go to the stage, plug in, sound check. You've got 3 minutes to get ready. So I had flip-flops on. I mean, I thought it was just another solo gig. I had no idea. I ran up those stairs, and I sound checked in front of, you know, a few thousand people, and he gave me 15 minutes to play opening for Clint Black. And I always tell people, you know, the takeaway from that is I always tell people to have a 3 or 4 song arsenal, that I call it, that are just these songs that you've been playing since you were a baby, that you can play backwards and forwards. So if you get an opportunity to sit in with a band or do something like this, you know, you don't have to think about what you're going to play. You've played these songs a billion times, and then you can just focus on the performance. And that's what I did. And that's what started it all.
Well, and you know, the other thing that I heard in this story is you, even though you probably were a little uncomfortable, you didn't get mad throughout that situation. And because, I mean, you had some, probably maybe even if there was a justifiable reason to be mad at that guy that booked you, you could be, but you didn't. Yeah. You know, you took the high road, and now, I mean, look what it's turned into. I mean, that was the first of, you said 30, how many? 39?
Over 30, yeah.
Over 30, yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right, so one of the things that you and I have talked about a little bit was how you took that and you just built on it with an image you created. Mm-hmm. And maybe share a little bit about what that means to you, that to have a specific image that will attract those type of bookings.
Sure. I had. Let me just go back to the beginning of it real quick, just to let everybody know. Like when I first started, the first few years, number one, I hated booking. It was the worst thing in the world for me. It was intimidating. I couldn't stand the rejection. Everything that goes along with it. You know, because now I know that I was going at the exact opposite way that I should be directing and approaching booking. So, and, you know, and then going back to image, it all started to I always had like an idea of, okay, well, if I can build my image up in layers, then I can build up my bookings and my whole career. So having said that, what I've done since the beginning with the image stuff is I've always, you know, looked for and sometimes staged opportunities to get great content, meaning great video and great photos. And by great video and photos, I mean basically, really simple stuff, but I see this mistake all the time. Never ever show an empty room. Never show a half empty room. Never show a three-quarters empty. Never ever show an empty room. Um, and you want to capture footage and video and photos of more of the things that you want to be doing. So, for instance, when I started playing in a band with doing a little bit bigger shows after the solo stuff, I would only show great footage and photos of that stuff because that's the kind of thing that I wanted to play. Even though I was playing hundreds of solo acoustic gigs, I wouldn't show much footage of that because I just wanted people to see me as a full band act, and that's how I perpetuated being booked into those things, if that makes any sense at all.
Dude, actually, it totally does. I mean, you applied the concept of faith to your image. You're saying this is where I want to be, and this is what I'm going to show people.
Right.
But at the same time, you're hearing it, you're seeing it, you're thinking, this is who I am.
I'm actually getting goosebumps because that's exactly what it is. It's you create a vision in your mind, right? And you don't wait. I learned this from Arnold Schwarzenegger, not personally, but from from reading or something. You create a vision. You don't wait for a vision to come to you. You create a vision in your own mind, and it seems maybe goofy and metaphysical, but it works. So you create the vision of what you want to be doing. And I like to create the big vision, of selling out arenas and stadiums. And then I like to create my baby step vision. So if the people watching or listening, if you're maybe playing in bars in a band and you want to play festivals, right? That's your like baby step goal, your next level in your career. Create a vision in your mind, what that looks like, what it really looks like of you on that stage, of your band members surrounding you, and hold that vision all the time, and then work with your content to perpetuate that vision, and you live right into that vision.
Man, we could actually stop right here if we wanted to.
Okay.
But I don't want to.
Okay.
That's more questions for you. So, all right, what maybe just a little bit in what a day in the life of Tim Charron looks like. And I know you. I mean, I kind of know you got a lot going on right now, but maybe kind of take it what the day looks like, specifically related to getting your band booked.
Oh, okay. That's a great question. Let me lay this out. So we had a gig last night. I told you we had a kind of late gig, and my day starts with waking up and going to the gym. So that gets me in the right. I'm really into fitness and I guess trying to be mentally as healthy as possible. So going to the gym for me anyway gets me into the right mindset so that when I get back to my place, I'm ready to hit it. But to distill it down, what I tell people and this is what I started to do. This is how I learned taught myself how to play guitar and sing as well. I dedicated myself to play guitar and sing, that I would force myself every single day to play one song. And that's like 2.5 minutes, right? So every morning I would wake up and I would go grab my guitar and play one song. Sometimes that turned into 5 or 10 songs, and I would practice for a couple hours, or I would just play that song and I would get on with my day. So applied the same exact concept to booking gigs, because number one, I could go on about how important booking gigs is to your music career. If you're an independent artist, it is everything. It has given me everything, and it's the basis for getting more fans, making more money, everything that you want to do in the music business as an independent artist, all comes from booking. Having said that, so I dedicated myself to just one phone call a day, right? 5 days a week. Now in my typical day, I now it's a matter of responding because things are rolling downhill. So
Yeah.
now I just do a lot of, I get offers in, and I do a lot of responding and going back and forth. But I'll take one day out of the week now and proactively go after the venues and the things that I want. But for the past few years, to get the ball rolling and get the really important thing, which is momentum for yourself in your career, is dedicate yourself to making one phone call a day. And then if you're in the seat and you feel good, then just keep going. If you're in the seat and you're like, this stinks, move on to the next day. Just leave it for the next day. But if you commit yourself to that, then you gain the most important thing that you want in your career, and that's momentum.
Yeah, man, that's so good. And if I was, a young musician sitting here hearing this, I'd want to keep asking you more and more questions about this. However, I don't have to do that because you've got a free ebook that goes a lot of this stuff.
I do.
So, and yeah, look at that.
Yeah, man. No, I'm really, really super excited about this. I mean, it's a 16-page book. It has pictures and stuff. So, it's not like a super long read. So, you can download it and you can, blast through it in like 15 minutes or less. But, it's really like the past 10 years of my career condensed, and everything that I've learned from trial and error and everything that I wish that I had 10 years ago, where, when I was struggling and I had no idea what to do. And I know personally how incredibly painful it can be. I struggled with it for a few years, and then I read a book by Stephen Chandler called The Wealth Warrior. And in that book, he basically paraphrased the whole concept. He was like, either you need to teach yourself to be great at basically, I don't want to say selling, but getting gigs, getting booked, or give up. And no one had ever really kind of put it that way. And it really hit home because I was failing, and the worst part about not booking great gigs and having the career projection that I wanted to, was like going home and seeing my family and my friends that I grew up with, and they'd be like, "Oh, how's your music career going?" And it made me feel terrible.
Yeah.
On the flip side, now for everybody out there, part of the reason why I wrote the book is like, I want people that are listening and watching to have a career, that you can be excited about and proud of. And when you go home and your friends and family ask you, that you can tell them all this exciting stuff that you're doing and invite them to these shows. And, there's nothing better to me than to be out on stage with thousands of people watching and listening, and have your family and friends in the audience and everybody, being proud of what you're doing. And so that's part of the reason why I wrote the book, to give people, not only to give people like a structure of what exactly to do with this. It's 6 steps, but also to give them like a little bit of hope and inspiration.
Yeah, man. And you know what? We're gonna put that link to get that book in our show notes as well.
Oh, awesome.
Plus, I want to put your band website in our
Oh,
show
cool.
notes too, and anything else we need to put in there as well. Make sure that if you're looking for Tim on the social media, you know what's all your handle on your social media? Is it just Tim Charron?
Tim Charron Band. So it's TimCharron. Tim
Okay.
Charron Band. Yeah.
Good. And we'll put that all in the show notes too. But I've got one more question for you.
Okay.
What advice would you give a 16-year-old Tim today?
Whew, a 16-year-old Tim. Wow. You know, the main thing, I know it might sound not sexy, but the most important thing that I've learned that I wish that I knew earlier and that people would tell me all the time is that this is a business, and once you start treating it like a business, like a real business, you are going to your business and your music career is going to take off. That's what I would tell myself. I would tell myself, 16-year-old Tim, stop playing games, and you know, the more work you put into this, the more unbelievably, incredibly fulfilling it is and gratifying, because you know, you get to, like, I want everybody watching and listening to this to feel, you know, the rush of not only the rush of like playing shows that you want to play and having people sing your songs back to you, and that incredible rush that only music can do. You know, it's a one of a kind thing, as you know. I want everybody to feel that, but I also want them to feel the incredible satisfaction and pride of knowing that you took control of your music career, and that you have built it, and you've put in the work, and you've booked all the gigs, and you've gained all the fans, and like, you know, that's half the battle, is that you feel so fulfilled because you took control. I mean, especially now, this day, with technology the way it is and everything, it's there's so much out there in the music business. There's so much abundance that we all can take advantage of. It's right there at our fingertips, and it's ours for the taking. Whereas 10, 20 years ago, you know, it wasn't. There were all these gatekeepers, and now the gatekeepers don't know how to keep the gates. The gates are open, and we can take control, and that's what I want everybody to do. And you know, grab the free book and take control of your own career.
Yeah, man, this has been good. We could talk for hours here. Thanks for your time, dude. And I'm cheering for you, and I know a lot of other people are too. And we're going to do whatever we can on this end to help you out as well. And you know, just the best of success to you, man.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me on my podcast.
Right. Hopefully we can do it again soon.
All right.
All right. Thanks, Tim.